James, I'd like for you to comment on the chemical composition of our extracts. These are food-based compounds, so would you comment on that and then make a comparison between isolated extractions, synthetic compounds, and then drugs themselves?
Well, actually, the drugs that are synthesized are started as an extract and brought down to a finite molecule, one molecule, and then they're mass-produced. So that's probably the difference between a drug, a pharmaceutical, and a natural substance.
It could be a natural substance brought down to one molecule. Now you have a drug.
Yes, and there's things like digitalis lananata, lenoxin, which is for the heart, quinidine, which is from cinchona, colchicine from a flower. Now it's a pharmaceutical. It's brought down to a single molecule. There's all kinds of other molecules there that you throw away. Now, if you go back to the old days, colchicum carm, in the old botanical medicines days, they used the whole flower, the root, and whatever, and got tremendous results. So it's the idea when you bring something down to a finite molecule, it'll work because we know scientifically they identified it. That's fine, but a lot of times it works for a shorter period of time. You have more side effects. That's kind of the difference. Whereas when you're throwing away like a lot of good substances when you bring something down too finite, and that's kind of the difference between, let's say, a nutraceutical and a pharmaceutical, for the most part.
Could we say that our chemical composition of our extract is carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, enzymes, vitamins and minerals, and the government discovered, U.S. government in about 1988 discovered sulforaphane in broccoli, and they call that a phytochemical, and now there's been identified thousands of those that are in these plants. That's the real chemical composition of all of our extracts.
Yes, and depending on how you process that, you can end up with a tremendous raw material, or you can end up with nothing. Right. Because basically with these extraction methods, a lot of times you're using the wrong methods of extraction, or using heat or whatever you're doing. You're throwing away a lot of the good activities, or destroying these activities, and that's the difference kind of between a food and a drug and a nutraceutical, whatever. And food scientists are identifying every day. My God, I go to all these IFT meetings. I mean, it's overwhelming, the information, the nutritional values. Every day we're finding new activities in these foods, is what it amounts to.
Well, there's been a renaissance in science now of moving away from that single molecule back to this complete array from a food base.
Yes.
And that's, I think, represents some tremendous power, and that's what we do here at eXfuze.
Well, it's interesting, and number one, as I say, bioactivities of natural substances come from different sources. Lycopene, everybody knows what, or a lot of people know what lycopene is. Very, very phenomenal. So they know it comes from tomatoes, and then they know you got to cook the tomato to get it out of there. Okay, lycopenes are in all kinds of different substances, and one of the best sources of lycopene are the watermelon. And the watermelon's kind of interesting. It tastes good. It looks good. Oh yeah, the lycopene, it's got a complete array of vitamins, minerals, amino acids, highest content. People don't know that. I mean,
that's in a watermelon.
And that's in a watermelon. I mean, you talk about not only does it taste good, it is really good for you.
So when you do an extract of that watermelon, you can wind up with an incredibly powerful botanical for healing purposes.
If you know what you're doing, because watermelon, you've got the pH when you can't extract it the normal way. A little bit of heat, you got nothing. Right. Any solvent systems, you got nothing. You got to know what you're doing. And there's only very few people that know what they're doing in the watermelon business, let's say.
Right. Well, and that's true really in the extract business too. Yes. The combination of the chemical composition combined with the manufacturing, now you have a powerful substance.
Yes.
But if you do it wrong, you can come up with a good tasting beverage without the health benefits.
Yes, right. Very true.
Well, that tells us about the chemical composition here at eXfuze of what we do and what our extracts represent.